You're welcome to be seated. Thank you very much. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed your break. We are ready to resume with the trial of the case. Please call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Frederick Austin. You can have a seat, sir. That's fine. If you raise your right hand, please, sir. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give this court and this jury in the state of Georgia versus Tiffany Moss will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay. If you could please state your name for the court and for the jury, please.
Frederick Austin.
And Mr. Austin, I'm going to take you back to November of 2013. Back in November of 2013, how were you employed, sir?
I was a police officer in the city of Roswell.
And at that particular time, how long had you been in law enforcement, sir?
About 12, 13 years.
And what did your duties with the City of Roswell Police Department include?
I was assigned to the Uniform Patrol Division.
And on that day of November 2nd of 2013, were you working as a City of Roswell Police Department on patrol?
Yes.
What were you doing? What did your normal duties include on that day?
On that day, my normal duties were to respond to any calls that came through 911 or any active services that I could provide to the city. In other words, traffic stops or assist citizens as needed.
And on that day, were you, in fact, monitoring traffic or running traffic patrol?
That's correct. I was actually sitting on Holcomb Bridge Road or westbound Holcomb Bridge Road at Old Scott Road in the center turn lane. On that section of Holcomb Bridge Road, there is actually a 4-lane highway. 2 lanes eastbound, 2 lanes westbound, 1 center turn lane, and I was sitting in the center turn lane.
Okay. And you were sitting in your patrol car, I'm assuming, at that point?
That is correct.
And was that a marked City of Roswell Police Department car?
Yes.
On that day, were you in your uniform as a officer's uniform for the City of Roswell?
Yes.
What, if anything, unusual happened when you were sitting there in the middle of Holcomb Bridge Road?
On that day in question, as I was sitting in the vehicle monitoring the traffic, I had a tap that came from my left rear side. Someone tapped on the rear side of the vehicle. And I'm looking, first thing that came to my mind is, what is this tapping on my car? And I looked to the left, and it was a female, black female standing outside. Rolled the window down, and I asked, I said, may I help you? She said, I need to talk to you. I said, first thing we need to do is get out of the road. So I instructed her to go back across to the other side of Holcomb Bridge Road, made sure that the traffic was stopped. She got across the road, and then I relocated my car there in the church parking lot.
Okay. Once you got there back to the church parking lot, did you then speak with the black female, as you've described her, who tapped on the back of your window?
Yes, I did. I asked the female exactly how could I help her. She said that the police wanted to talk to me. I asked her what police wanted to talk to you, and she did not advise who or what department needed to speak to her, but she just advised that the police department needed to speak to her.
And when you saw her there, how would you describe her? I don't know if you know what she was wearing or anything you can remember, but how did she appear to you?
She appeared to be normal, not upset. She appeared to, I think she had on like a dark jacket, blue jeans, tennis shoes, maybe some type of hat or something of that nature. She did have on the jacket. Her mannerisms was not one that was anxious or startled or afraid or anything like that. She was very calm and polite.
Were you able to figure out who, in fact, that female was?
Yes, I did. After doing a pat down and removing her driver's license from her person, it showed her name, which the last name was Moss, and she lived in Gwinnett County.
And once you said you indicated that she said she wanted to speak to the police. Did you ask her any more about why she knew that the police wanted to talk to her?
Yes, I did. The number one thing with Ms. Moss on that day, she did not give a lot of information. So what I had to do is I just went down the line and asked basic questions as to extract certain information from her. So I asked Ms. Moss some safety questions. I said, was anyone at this time, were they injured, hurt, or deceased? Did they need any help? And when I said the word deceased, she said someone is deceased. From that point, I asked her who was deceased, and she advised who was deceased. If I'm not mistaken, it was her stepdaughter that was deceased, and I got the information of the stepdaughter. From that point, I had her to have a seat in my car, in the back seat of the patrol vehicle. And about that time, my zone partner showed up. When she showed up, I explained to her exactly what I had at that time. I went back to my police car, got on the phone, and called our 911 center and advised them what I had at the time.
And at that time, I know typically when you have detained an individual, whoever they may be, and you've obtained their identification, is it typical in law enforcement that you would run a check on that person to see if they do have any outstanding warrants or if they're wanted by anybody or any information that you could obtain like that?
Most definitely, and I did do that. Miss Moss was not wanted. I confirmed with our police department that we had no criminal activity that we were looking for her, and that was confirmed. Here again, I had our dispatchers to contact Gwinnett County to see exactly if they had anything. While I was waiting for that information, my zone partner pulled up on her computer after explaining to her what happened. She pulled up on her computer a news post from Channel 2 News where a black male had been arrested in Gwinnett County and they were taking him off to the police department. And I remember Ms. Moss stating that they, being the police, had taken her husband to the police department or to the jail during our conversation. Once I saw the video, I got back on the phone and advised our 911 dispatchers as far as what I had observed from my zone partner's laptop. And they did a little bit more investigative work and confirmed with Gwinnett County that they wanted to talk to Ms. Moss.
With regard to, you said that when you first asked her just some questions to find out if anybody was hurt or what kind of was going on to get some information, and you asked about somebody being hurt or deceased. She gave you the information about her stepdaughter being deceased. Did you inquire whether there were any other people that might be hurt or any other children or her husband? You mentioned her husband, you knew something. Did you know if there were any other children involved?
Yes, I did ask Ms. Moss if there were other juveniles that may need attention or if they were okay. And she said that they were. She said she had actually, I think it was maybe 2 additional children, and she had actually taken the children to either her mother's or her mother-in-law's house and left the kids there, and the kids were okay. And I believe the time frame that she may have left them there was maybe 2 a.m. in the morning, and that was the last time that she had saw them. But those kids were okay at that time.
And once she had taken them to that residence, did you ask her anything about how she got to the middle of Holcomb Bridge Road where you were doing patrol in the early afternoon of November 2nd?
No, I did not, but based on what I saw and looking at the information that she had shown me and what was on the internet that I had seen from my partner's laptop, she did not have a car, that I do know, and she was on foot. So I gathered the information that wherever she dropped those kids off, she didn't have the car. She only had some cash in her pocket, 2 forms of ID, and that was about it. It appeared that she had walked from Gwinnett County to the city of Roswell on Holcomb Bridge Road from Jimmy Carter. The road switched from Jimmy Carter to Holcomb Bridge Road, and from, I would say, the Gwinnett County line to where she found me, it was probably an additional 5 or 6 miles from that point.
And you said that you did determine what she had in her possession. You said 2 forms of ID and some cash. Is that right? Do you remember how much cash it was?
It may have been about $200 or $300.
Was she carrying a purse or any type of thing, anything else with her?
No purse. Everything that she had at that time was in her pockets.
Now, once you said that you determined that Gwinnett County did in fact want to speak with Ms. Moss, did you keep her there in your patrol car?
Yes, I did. The dispatchers made contact with the detective here in Gwinnett County. They did a transfer conversation or the phone conversation. And I spoke to the detective. He advised, yes, we do want to talk to Ms. Moss. We do have a case here. She's a person of interest, and asked me to keep her there and that they would be sending a patrol car to our location to pick Ms. Moss up and bring her back to Gwinnett County.
And did in fact that happen? Did Gwinnett County send a patrol car to pick her up?
That is correct.
And once that other officer in a car arrived there at your location, did you then release Ms. Moss into the custody of that officer?
Yes.
After that, Mr. Austin, did you have any other contact with Ms. Moss or any other follow-up investigation regarding this case whatsoever?
No, I did not.
Okay, that completed your duties and your responsibilities with regard to Ms. Moss?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, I believe those are all the questions I have for you. Thank you.
Cross-examination. May this witness be excused.
Yes, Your Honor, you may.
You're excused, sir. Thank you for coming. Any other witnesses today, sir?
No, Your Honor. The state has called 11 witnesses today, and we anticipated it going a little longer. At this time, we would ask the court to recess until 9 o'clock in the morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, some days we end a little bit late, sometimes we end a little bit early, and that's the more fortunate of the two circumstances that you find yourself in today. We still are on pace to resolve the case in the time frame that we've discussed earlier, but today we'll be able to let you go just a little bit early. I'm going to remind you of the instructions that I've given you previously. Do not discuss the case with anyone. Do not allow anyone else to discuss the case with you or in your presence or hearing. Do not even discuss the case amongst yourselves. Do not attempt any independent research or investigation into any aspect of the case. Do not read or listen to any accounts of the case that might appear in the news media. When we reassemble tomorrow, we'll be doing it in the same fashion as we did first thing this morning, with the anticipated start of the court day being at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Have a pleasant evening, and you can go out with our bailiff.
Leave your badge and pens in your seat, please.
Our jury's out. Thank you all very much. We'll be in recess until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Thank you.